August 27, 2012. Mary, the Steadfast Foundation of Faith. When I mentioned to someone that I was coming out to Burton, he said, "Isn't that area all Amish?" I responded that there is an oasis of Byzantine Catholic. Sometimes we forget that our church is in the midst of a world that is indifferent to us, if not belligerent. As part of the coverage of the Olympics in London, NBC reminded us of the role played by the British in fending off the invasion of the Nazis in 1940 and 1941. During this time, the United States could only help with supplies and armament, and only those that could get past the Nazi Navy. Prime Minister Winston Churchill stated, "We are fighting by ourselves alone, but we are not fighting for ourselves alone." How true! This evil regime was poised to conquer the world, enslaving those whom they didn't kill. Backed against the wall, the British were thrust into a noble cause. The world continues to be in danger. The forces of evil continue to threaten our very existence. The evil one continues to tempt us as he did in the Garden of Eden. We are continually offered the idea that we can know what is good for us, and we can know that without approaching God's Word. So often the lies of evil come packaged in what may be considered obvious truths. We are told to respect individuality without respecting the person. We are told to respect every individual's choices, even if they will harm or limit themselves or others. We are told to tolerate the shortcomings of others, even when they could grow beyond them. Respect and toleration are wonderful, but these are only half-truths. We Christians know that abundant life is available to us all if we only open ourselves to it and cooperate with it. The church finds itself in a battle. There are strong forces trying to discredit and eventually eradicate the church, claiming that they are freeing humanity from the burdens imposed. We may echo the words of Churchill, "We are fighting by ourselves alone, but we are not fighting for ourselves alone." In truth, however, we cannot say we are fighting alone, for we stand on the steadfast foundation of faith, a model of which is the Holy Mother of God Mary, as we celebrate at this pilgrimage. Faith. Mary's faith was one of commending herself to God. "Be it done to me as you will," she said. But it is also one of committing herself to God, as she told the waiters at the marriage of Cana, "Do whatever he tells you." In almost every icon of Mary, certainly the icon of Mariapot, she is holding the infant Jesus. The word infant comes from a Latin word which means not able to speak. We, like Mary the Mother, must be ready to speak for Christ, to stand up for his truth. His words will not be heard if they don't come from our mouths. Today I invested Father Dennis Rubiak with the mitre, to acknowledge his priestly service as pastor, chancellor, and director of vocations, and to prepare him for special service of leading the eparchy in its self-study, visioning, and configuring to the will of God. We thank him as we thank all of our clergy, but we commit him as well, and we ask him to recommit his life to that service. He and each of us must be firmly positioned on this steadfast foundation of faith. Building on anything else is like building on sand. The wisdom of the world can only be useful when it cooperates with the wisdom of God that comes to us through faith. Our church is faced with many challenges. We are challenged to perpetuate the spiritual heritage of our ancestors. We are challenged to keep our churches open. Meeting these challenges are part of the spiritual warfare. Our Byzantine Catholic spirituality, our institutions, and our parishes are our gift from God to further His kingdom here on earth. As the little country of England did their part in stopping the evil forces of the Nazis, so must we do ours to stop the forces of evil and to help those who have been tricked into believing its lies. St. Irenaeus said, "The evil done by Eve's faithlessness was remedied by Mary's faith." And St. Augustine said that Mary first conceived in her heart by faith and then in her womb. The world relies on the sacramental presence of Christ. It is our church that can provide that. We, like Mary, can conceive that into the world, but first we, like Mary, must conceive in our hearts the faith that knows God, that is united with God, that is intimate with God. First we shall follow Mary's lead by uniting ourselves by faith to Him in the heart of our heart. If we are to do what is expected of us, to allow God's plan to direct the world, to save the world, we must unite ourselves to that steadfast foundation of faith, Mary, the Mother of God.